Welcome everyone for this Apitherapy video. This time I'll be giving you a short briefing regarding the IPRG International Propolis Research Group Conference that have been given on May 27th and May 28th. That was part of the first joint international congress of Apitherapy. That was just amazing. Actually, it started on May 20th. With the actual World Bee Day. So that was just wonderful, and that Congress is ending on May 29th. So yeah, and let's say the maximum expression of that Congress was actually that Propolis conference of the IPRG, International Propolis Research Group. Yeah, so the little recap on this conference is extraordinary. That was a huge success. It was very well prepared. There has been more than 90 countries involved, like participants from more than 90 countries. I think it was 91 or something. And many participants, all the presenters were great. And for me, what rejoiced me the most is the actual feeling that every participant in this whole conference, it was huge. In this whole conference, everybody was very happy to work along with other specialists, because all the Propolis specialists of the world, there's a few more, but really high-level specialists were all present there, and they were all very happy to work together. That is really something, because sometimes in some kind of specialized domain like this, you know, some people don't share much information, they keep things a little bit, and you know, they don't give so much, and sometimes they're a bit critical against others. Not that time. It was a real group work. We had the feeling of a real team, almost like a family, and some actually organizers said that they were feeling almost like with brothers and sisters. I mean, they felt like a family. And to see that level of experts united around one topic, which is the use of propolis to benefit the whole world, actually, humanity, but also animals and so on. This is really touching. I mean, they did something just amazing. I was just in admiration towards the work that have been done. You know, nowadays we talk a lot about mondialization, you know, with the COVID stuff and all this. And we talk often about, you know, the bad side of this, but this time we've seen a really bright side of mondialization, of that, you know, unity throughout specialists from all countries around the globe. And they have the stamina to do it. They did it once, and it seems like they're going to keep going. And I think that will help a lot the progress in apitherapy, and specifically on the use of propolis, because working together as a whole will help to gain credibility in order to be able to conduct more clinical studies and so on. And the potential is just humongous. And one thing that have been said that is really, like, it's important to understand, is that there's so much demand. There's such a big need in humanity for propolis, even though right now, you know, propolis is not necessarily sold out because there's not enough visibility, like people don't get it. But there's such a huge need for propolis. We don't have to keep our information for ourselves. We don't have to you know, try to keep, you know, our end of the benefits of the whole thing. We can give and share, and the more we do, the better it will be for everyone, because the need is just so big. Like, propolis can help so much for so many different conditions that, you know, we can just share, and this is something that can just be better. Some of the topics at some points were specifically in the roundtable discussions. There were around, once it was around, is there a way to produce more propolis? Because we'll be like, you know, we won't have enough to cover all the needs that are there, you know. Just as an example, I presented in one of my previous videos a clinical study trial that has been conducted on hospitalized COVID patients. And I don't know if you see the picture, but the results were just wonderful. Like, it was great. And I don't know if you can picture that, but if propolis get recognized for what it really is, well then, of course, we'll need more beekeepers. Of course, we'll need beekeepers to really focus on propolis instead of honey. Because they don't make that much money on honey, actually, beekeepers. It's not that big, the money they do with honey, because it's sold very cheap because of all the fake honey and so on. So there's a real potential to switch a little bit the whole beekeeping industry, let's say, towards more apitherapy and slowly move away a bit from huge pollination contract in monoculture crops, which is kind of, in a way, it's supporting our food system. And in another way, it's actually tearing it apart and creating huge disbalance with pesticides and all this. And big problems also in nutrition of many, many people. It's just such a huge shift that could bring. And apitherapy for me is such an answer to that problem of the actual agricultural food industry that worldwide, with those huge monoculture crops, putting the bees in there, it's something quite questionable. Could be good in some cases. I'm not saying we should never do this, but if we start looking more at propolis and see the value of it and what it could bring to our society, well, then things could start changing quite a bit. And so we're at the very beginning of this. Very few are seeing that picture yet, but this is something serious. And maybe you've heard about micro-farming, permaculture, other agricultural food options, and things will eventually change. And when things will be changing, we'll see that the bees bring so much more in apitherapy than in pollination contracts for monoculture crops that are humongous, as well as just honey for consumption, which is usually very often on the world market. There's probably more fake honey than real honey. Don't know if you realize that. But this is serious. So there are real change happening. And this will be possible with conferences like that one that just happened at IPRG Conference, that is actually underlining one of the greatest role of the bees, which is connected with propolis and all the different uses of propolis that can take place. So let's give you a briefing also about the different topics that have been explored through that awesome 2 days summit or conference on propolis. So many different topics. One of them was, that was the last one actually, and it was, the speakers were mainly Professor Marla Spivak from Minnesota University and her team, and it was regarding the health of honeybees in connection with propolis. The more propolis there is in a beehive, is there a correlation with the health situation of that beehive? So there's conducting many different studies with her team on this, and this is just wonderful and fascinating. Lots to learn. If you want to learn more, you can actually search on YouTube even Professor Marla Spivak speeches. She's been talking a lot about this and sharing her experience and studies many times. So there's a lot of information there. Also, if you haven't had the chance to see the 27-28 May 27-28 IPRG conference, the conferences will also be available on the website. So the link will be in the description of that video. So make sure you can see this, because this is very rare that you see all the specialists across the world on the topic like propolis work together in such great teamwork manner. Okay, So yeah, so that was one of the topics, correlation between propolis in the hive and the health of honeybees. And then another aspect was kind of the standardization of propolis extracts. And there's many different types of propolis extracts. There's actually also new ways of making propolis extracts that have been explained. So this is really important and key. Why? Because if we have a better standardization of propolis extracts, then we gain more credibility towards propolis products, and then it will be easier for health practitioners to use it and understand how to use it and how they can really rely on the products and so on. So that's a big topic. And then, of course, there were all the clinical trials and studies that have been conducted. That was another part of it, and many more. How to use also propolis, that's a big one too. There was a few lectures, for example, on the use of propolis in dental, and dentistry world, how effective it is, what, how you can use it, why, and so on. Anyway, that was just great. Really lots of information. Again, if you didn't have a chance to watch those conferences, it will be available on the IPRG website. I strongly encourage you to have a look at this and appreciate. I don't know if you'll get also like the roundtables and so on among the panelists, which that was just amazing to feel that the experts are working together to make something great. They are getting really good at this now. And the panel was just amazing. We had people from many different perspectives, some from, that are actually in a business of bee products, and they need also the study to prove the efficiency and so on. So they have some interest, but they are, they're able to put aside some at least of their personal interest for, the good of the whole. And so that was really nice to see, actually. That was really nice to see. And then same thing also, we had just researchers, plain researchers on propolis. And we had also medical doctor that was there. So we had, different perspectives, but all of them were really good specialists. And seeing them working together, putting aside their personal interests for the good of the whole understanding of propolis and the development of that whole topic, that was wonderful to see. So that's it, a short briefing on that IPRG conference. Thank you so much for listening, and see you another time for another Apitherapy video.